evening everyone, as promised. Just a little late, but we are live now. So we'd like to welcome those who have joined, and you can give us your questions or whatever. So please make them sensible questions, and we hope you enjoy it anyway. Okay. So just wait for a few more of you to join before we go ahead. And of course, we'd just like to thank you for supporting our channel on here. We haven't done a live on here for quite a while, so this is the first in quite a while, because life gets busy, and of course my guy is doing readings for people, and we've done a few TikTok lives, so I expect we'll be doing more of those, but we thought we'd come back to this, and you know, those of you that were looking forward to it tonight, we hope you enjoy it. So you can ask me a few questions if you want to, and when Jonathan comes in, which we will be asking him too, then you can ask him some questions, alright? So where are we going?
So we've got 43 people in at the moment.
Goodness me, 43 people already. Well, thank you for joining, everyone. It's nice of you to put your time aside to join us. You know, I'm sure you've been with us for quite a while, some of you, on other channels that we use. But it's been some time, hasn't it?
Yeah, we haven't been on YouTube for a while. We have been doing TikTok lives, because in the TikTok lives they allow you to put people in the chat individually, and they can communicate on live with Elaine and Jonathan, so we can give evidence that way. But tonight will just be a question and answers. If you could keep it to spiritual questions, because it's very hard to give evidence over this way, being just messaging. We have got some shows coming up.
Yeah, so on the 23rd of this month we are in Coventry. In April on the 20th we have 2 shows in Wales, one at 11 o'clock I believe, and the other one starts at 5:30. Sunday the 12th of May we're in Sittingbourne. Friday the 5th of July we're in Torquay, and Friday the 18th of October we're in Essex, and we have got a couple more that we're talking to people that we should hopefully get booked in soon, and we'll be able to put those all on the website. But all of the ones we have booked in that we've just mentioned are on the website as well, elainethorpe.com, and I'll upload the ticket information as and when we have that as well.
Also, all of them, hopefully we film live, hopefully will be put on our Patreon channel.
Yeah, so we film all of the live shows and they go exclusively onto Elaine's Patreon.
Yeah, so those of you that are on that Patreon, thank you very much for supporting that, and we're really grateful, and we hope you enjoy the content that we put on there. We do try to keep regularly renewing it, you know, with the shows and everything, but of course since before Christmas we haven't had any, so we will be starting again come March. So it's going to be quite a busy time for us, and we hope that you enjoy the content that's on there. For those of you that are on there, you know, you're welcome to join if you want to. So are we ready? Do people want to start asking any questions?
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions to Elaine before she goes into trance, obviously we will answer them once we go into trance as well. We haven't got any for Elaine just yet. So one here, Elaine, do you have any suggestions on how to get the brain and mind to be receptive to mediumship?
Well, yeah, I listen to what Jonathan says sometimes. I don't always watch a video, I do listen back sometimes, and I pick up on what he says. Well, in my own mind, and what I've heard from him is that he'll always say that meditation is good, and sometimes if the mind's busy, I find that I'm a musical person. So I find if you put music on and you've got a busy mind and you find it hard to relax in quiet, then just put a bit of relaxing music on and allow your mind to drift with that music, because then your brain will immediately attach itself to the sound and you'll automatically start to relax. So I don't mean music like disco music or anything like that that you can want to get up and dance to. I mean something that you like, that helps you to slow down and relax. And then you'll begin to relax your mind. Even if you're not meditating, you're relaxing your mind. So I think the best way is to do it like that. That's just my advice. I mean, it might work for you, it might not, you know, hopefully it does.
Wayne asked, do loved ones ever speak or only our guides?
No, loved ones do. I mean, I talk to my dad and my mum quite a lot on the other side. I know that sometimes it's wishful, you think, oh, is it there?
I think they mean speak through you.
Oh, speak through, yeah, they have done. They haven't always, sometimes people have said, oh, it actually sounds like the person. And sometimes it just sounds like a particular voice, but they're bringing through information that might be, you know, connected to them that you know about. But because they're using a different voice box, my voice box, it may not particularly sound like them, and it might sound similar. It all depends on how strong they are to get through and how they can adjust the sound of my voice box to sound anything like them, you know. That's usually the way it works.
How did you know you was a medium like your father?
I didn't, honest. I used to sit with him on and off, not all the time because I was at school when I was young, obviously, but even after I went away and got married, and my dad used to sit with mum, and sometimes I was able to join in, but I didn't actually know I had anything. I used to enjoy sitting there and experiencing what would happen with my dad, and you know, when they came through and that. But myself, I didn't actually know I had anything until it just happened out of the blue, you know. So it was quite a shock to me and when I did find out, you know, it's quite surprising, because I thought, well, maybe it's come down in the family or something. That's what I thought.
Jenny wrote, hello Anne, I'd like to say thank you and Jonathan for the grief healing I received from you both. It helped me so much.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad you got something from it, because, you know, we like to know that they get something from it. And I hope it continues to help you.
So I think we're just about ready, if you'd like to go into trance.
Yeah, okay. We won't be having any music here, obviously, because it's YouTube, but it will go quiet for a few minutes, alright, so do bear with us. You know, if you want to close your eyes and relax with it, you can, but he'll come through shortly. So bear in mind, I don't know how long the time it'll take, because I don't count time when I'm going under, but he'll be with you shortly, I'm sure. Alright, so as I will say, see you on the other side.
evening, everyone.
Good evening, Jonathan.
I am happy to be with you all.
Thank you for joining us. We were just going to ask some questions from people watching on YouTube, if that's okay.
Yes, that is fine.
So the first one, good evening Elaine and Jonathan, it's Matt from Torquay. What's the reality like at the moment of our passings, and how do we travel to the spirit world from the moment we pass away?
Well, there are many different ways in which the soul will go back home again. And different souls experience different measures of visions that they may expect to see or they feel that they are experiencing on their way home. Some purport to go straight away into a bright light that feels like a tunnel that is pulling them there and gently loving them and coaxing them into this beautiful light. Some may go into a garden, some may go into memories of a beautiful place that they enjoyed. I would say many different experiences. Some even look around the universe. So there are different experiences in every one that travels back home again. But nevertheless, it is a pleasant experience, a beautiful experience, a most loving experience.
Thank you. Spooky Chris has asked, could Jonathan tell me, has he been offered an opportunity to join his own higher self group? I understand once you do, you don't come back. I see it once, it's amazing.
Yes, I choose to stay in the spirit world. And that is where I am, and that is where I wish to be. There are countless realms within the spirit world. And of course those are where the souls reside. I do like your name, Spooky Chris. It is a rather wonderful way of explaining who you are, but of course, yes, it makes people smile. And I would say keep it there because it allows people to enjoy who you are and what you're doing. So I would say that yes, the experience that you had was real and it was wonderful, and I know that you will always treasure it.
Nikki asked, can Jonathan talk about the solar flashes right now and the energies?
Solar flashes have been going on for centuries, my dear. And it's just that people haven't had the equipment or the knowledge to be able to see these things happening. But at the present, of course, it is not putting your world in any particular danger. It is an energetic thing, and it can sometimes have an effect on electrical measures. I would say yes, and partly the atmosphere, but you have what you call your ozone layer, your protective ozone layer around the world, don't you? They call it that. It is a protective layer, and in certain instances it may be able to penetrate some of that, and other parts of it, it doesn't. It is further protected, but there are some sort of holes that they say that are within those ozone layers. But of course, it doesn't seem to have put you in any danger. It doesn't seem to have affected on you too much. But if it were to become more powerful, it may do.
Thank you. Garrett has a question. He said, Jonathan, if our thoughts create realms in spirit, does that mean every dream we had can be a realm in spirit also?
When you have a dream, when you are experiencing, I would say more of a spiritual dream, perhaps you are meeting with your loved ones in that dream, you go into the astral, and the soul that is going to connect with you will come into the astral to meet you. So therefore your dreams are in the astral, and sometimes you will feel as if you are flying in that dream. You have moved aside from your body, and your consciousness is sort of setting itself free for a very brief amount of time, and that is where you will go in your sleep, into the astral. I hope that explains it for you.
Jules asked, is the Q stuff real? I'm not too sure on that myself.
The Q?
The Q stuff.
I think she asked before if if it was live currently as she's
Okay.
watching. So
Alright.
yeah, sorry, Jules. Just to confirm, you are watching as this is happening now live.
Yes, that is right. We are. I am actually here with Elaine.
Okay. Judy asked, what is the difference between the words spirit and soul?
Actually, I was being asked that earlier this evening by another. I will answer that for you. The spirit is the essence of the being, and the soul is the light of the being, the consciousness. That is what it is. Yes, the essence being the life within you. So, for instance, I'm coming through as a soul, but I'm giving you the essence of who I was in a previous life. So, if you were to say to a person, oh, you are very spirited today, you see, you are very spirited, you are very uplifted today. So the essence of you is the spirit of you, and the soul of you is the consciousness and the light of you. That is what it is. So you see, the essence being the way that you were, or the way that you are presenting yourself.
Thank you. Tofty21 has asked, the Earth and the people on it seem to be going through a dynamic change. Has the Earth done this before, or are we in a unique time?
Well, you see, because you have your computers now, your modern technology, you are far more able to connect with what is going on in the world, whereas many, many years ago when you didn't have it, you didn't know half of what was going on. So therefore you just carried on with your day. You didn't know what was going on unless it was practically written in your newspapers or on the television or whatever you had. But in the times when you didn't have television, you just had a newspaper handed you, and whatever was printed on that was seen as a reality, but you didn't know the real reality of it. So I would say to you, yes, what is going on in the world at present is, some of it is part of the spiritual awakening, because the truth shall arise in many, many ways. And of course, the awakening is happening within you as well, within many people that are waking up, not only to, spirituality, but to themselves, who they really are. And they are having many different experiences going through that. So there are many changes going on in the world. But if you're going to talk about the earthly way of changes, I would say to you that that has been going on for millions and millions of years. And the earth is going to change over a course of time. So every so often, it has a bigger change. You see, it will have a greater shift. Physically, it will have a shift. Now, for many years, it may lay dormant, and it may seem quiet and nothing is happening, only in small amounts. But there again, after a time, it will have a shift. And you will find that's when earthquakes will happen. You will find that's when land will apart itself and water will go between that land. You see, you will find that water will go to places that it's never been to before, or you think that it has never been to before. So for instance, if you go to the desert, you've got water appearing there all of a sudden, you say, well, that's never been there, but that may have been there before, but it is going to change and reappear again. You see, that is how the earth changes. But you have not known about it before. You can only go by what you have been told of, but it has changed for many years.
Phil asked, what's the best way to connect with spirits besides meditation?
To ask us to send you a sign. And of course, sometimes when you meditate, you are sort of preconceiving your mind to be in a relaxed state, and you are requesting us to join you. So perhaps if you wanted to develop your mediumship, you would sit in amongst a group of people, or sit with someone that is a little experienced and going to help you along and guide you towards meeting with your guide and connecting with your guide, or connecting with your loved ones, that sort of thing. But again, meditation and quietening of the mind is a good way of practicing, of getting into that state of mind. But if you want to sit and develop it, then what I would recommend is sitting with someone who has some experience of doing that and can help you along on your journey. So that is another way, listening to music to calm the mind and asking the spirit, the soul, to send you signs. You see, the guide. You may want to connect with the guide. You may want to connect with your loved ones. We are very good at sending you signs. So if you feel that you need to ask that, then it will come when you least expect it. Don't go looking for it, because you will not find it. If you just relax and let it happen when it is meant to, that will come about. I do say that they do keep their promises where that is concerned.
Thank you. Diceman has asked, can Jonathan please explain the nature of relationships in spirit, specifically twin souls? What do we do between lives? Are we couples? And is there such thing as romantic relationships / marriage?
Well, yes, because Elaine knows that there are on Earth a pair of twin souls that have recently got married. And what these twin souls, if they're going to meet on the Earth, then they will usually be in service. So when I say in service, they will go about bringing the knowledge of the light and the spirit world. Yes, they will go about doing that. They will usually work in service together to connect to the light and give the knowledge of that and other measures of that to the people of the Earth. So they are very much together, very much similarities, very much the reflection of one another. In other situations, like Elaine and I, that are twin souls, then I would remain in spirit, Elaine would reside on the Earth, and we would connect and give the message of our world this way. So therefore you are the total reflection of each other, and there is love, there is marriage, because it is based upon love, it is based upon energy, it is based upon this beautiful spiritual eternal connection. So therefore, if you are in the human existence, there are requirements that if you love each other, then it may be it's not so much about romance and flowers and candle lights. It is about the deepest and most profound love that you could possibly experience, that feels nothing like the earthly love. It goes beyond that. But there again, you are still in the human existence, so there is still the human ego, but the love is undeniably beautiful.
Charlene asked, why do mediums get split links? I keep getting three to four spirits at the same time.
Oh yes, so if they want to gather around, if they are all wanting to get through at once, my dear, you've got to understand that they're all consciousness, connection is one, but they have separate essences that they will present to you. But if they are really wanting to push through, then whoever gets through first, it's not going to be a fight or an argument or disagreement in any way, that they are all eager to get through, so they're all pushing their way through, and they've only got the one medium to use. So they're all, if you're meaning it that way, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the second half of the question there. She said, how do we control this?
Well, you ask them to behave themselves. They're not going to be naughty, of course, but you would say, well, one at a time, please, could you slow down a little bit so that I could get the connection, in a better way, in a cleaner way, that I would not be confused and have to flit from one to another. Otherwise the messages get separated, get confused, and they cannot connect properly. So you see, the spirit world have to remember that you've got to do these things one at a time, so you don't keep going back and forth. If you want it to be more uniformed, then do talk to them. They will listen to you.
Thank you. Mizanne has asked, hi Jonathan, I have been reading about a lot of near-death experiences, and most people that have experienced this refer to God as a he. Any idea why?
Well, it is just an automatic response, isn't it? Jesus was a he, but of course they refer to God as a man, but it's not, it's energy. What you call God is an energy of all, and it is the existence of all, and it is the essence of all. Again, I'm talking about essence because the energy of that is all-encompassing, and it is in existence within everything that has a consciousness or living growth within it. So, for instance, a spark of what you call God is within a tree. A spark of what you call God is within all of you, with all of the animals and the mammals and everything that is in existence, that grows and has a consciousness. You see, so in everything that is survivable, livable, consciousness and growth that has a soul within it. And that is what that energy is. But if you're going to look at it from heaven's point of view, that I will explain that in the earthly sense of how it is directed to you, how you are part of it because you are stemmed off of that existence, and whatever is on this earth and in the universe is stemmed off of that existence as well. So it's not a man sitting in a chair with a crown upon his head judging people. You see, in my particular lifetime, I was religious. So I thought, well, God, he is a man, that is it. But it is an energy. God is an energy. And you name it as God because it is something that you praise, you worship, you kneel down to, and you look up to. You see, so it is within you. You are part of that existence. You are part of the godlike existence.
Elaine Selly asked, how can I have more faith in my gift?
By believing in yourself, my dear. Believe in yourself, love yourself, know that you are worthy and that you are loved by the existence that I've just been speaking about, because you are part of it. So do not see yourself as unworthy. If you want to see your real self, then look inside of yourself. That is the best way to approach it.
Emily asked, I'm also struggling with time right now. How do we deal with the fear that we are failing to fulfill our life purpose in the limited time we have back on Earth? How do we know we are back on track?
You will always be on track because your soul has already planned the journey. You see, when you go to a medium and say, well, can I know my future, please? And they tell you what is going to happen. Then a little time or a long time later, the medium has explained something's going to happen. Then it comes about. Then that means that you could not possibly tell anyone their future if the soul had not already planned it. Because there would be nothing to tell, because the soul had not planned it. So it is the soul that comes to have the human experience, and the soul that has chosen to live out the life. So you see, it is only loaning this physical body for the time that it is here to reside in. So think of the body as just something that is an overcoat for the soul, and that the soul has planned every last detail of it and connected with all of the other souls that it is going to connect with, and knows each and every one of them, and they know this soul. So when you come into the human existence, you have amnesia, and you forget about, what was happening in the spirit world, because you are here to piece it all back together.
Thank you. Michelle has asked, how do I know if my soul will end up with my loved ones? Thank you, Jonathan.
The loved ones immediately come to meet the soul. And in all of the different ways that it will travel back to the spirit world that I have just spoken to you about in the beginning, it will still meet the loved ones and may choose to see them as light or choose to see them as they would recognize them. So they will present themselves as human likeness to the one that is just about to make their journey back home but hasn't quite yet passed. Quite often you will say, well, my mother said, or my father said, whoever's passing, that I could see so-and-so at the end of the bed. So they will present themselves as beings. They have light surrounding them, but they will present themselves as human-like, you see. But we are consciousness, we are beings of light. But we will present ourselves as human-like. So they will all come to meet you when you arrive home, and you will know exactly who they are.
Joanne asked, why does Jonathan always speak? Do other spirits connect?
Yes, they do. Mostly in the readings and mostly in the circles that she has sat in. But we do have Elaine's guardian angel that does sometimes make her way through in the readings and in the meetings. She hasn't been on here yet, but I'm sure she is actually standing here with Elaine, because your guardian angels never, cease to exist. They never leave you. They are always present here, so she is present here now.
And Stephen asked, do spirits remember how they died?
Yes, they do. They do remember how they passed. They don't choose to hang on to it, because what one might say is that soul planned to make that exit that way, you see. So each soul has to plan an exit. in order to go back to the spirit world and to be released from the physicality, they need to plan an exit. So they would remember that exit. They wouldn't dwell upon it, it was just a way that they left the earth. So they don't need to hang on to the memory of it, but they would know it.
Garrett asked, how much of the physical earth can you see? How much of the physical earth, our realm, can you see? Can you see us physically?
Yes, I can. If I choose to see you physically, or I can see you as light. I can see your consciousness. But we can see you physically, should we wish to, yes.
Okay. So we've got another question. I'm just scrolling back up because it looks like maybe we're missing one or two. We can't answer every question as there's so many coming in, so apologies if we do miss them. However, let me just have a look, because... So Johnny has asked, I feel like I'm being physically attacked. I'm an empath. A lot of unfortunate events are occurring. What should I do?
Think positive, my dear. You know, unfortunate events are not connected to the spirituality, so don't worry about that. None of the spirit world is here to attack you. We love you. But it is just events that happen in life that may teach you something and that you may learn from them. But the more you put a positive thought towards the things that are happening, they will soon fade away. You know, life isn't all bad. Sometimes these things seem to be seemingly all coming at once, and you feel as if you are cursed or something, but you are simply not. It is just that sometimes things come in spates, but it will subside. And just try to think positive about it and know that life is not all bad.
Sandra asked, do the angels hear our prayers?
Yes, they do. They hear you instantly because they are constantly with you. They go everywhere with you. They don't leave you. They have not had a physical existence, although in certain circumstances they can actually present themselves as physical for a very brief time, and they can even speak to you. But that is, upon a rare occasion. Have you ever had a person stop and help you and then you never see them again? They just suddenly disappear, you don't know where they went, and all of a sudden you turn around, they're gone, you cannot find them anywhere. That's on a rare occasion that either the guardian angel or an angel comes to help you in some way if needed. And if that is part of your soul's journey, the plan. But your guardian angel has not incarnated and does not have a full physical life. It is a being of light and is assigned to you from the moment that you come into this world. That was the plan, that each one of you would have this assigned being with you that is angelic and would stay with you every day of your life.
Thank you. Jen has asked, what about our animals? Are they part of our soul family?
Oh, yes, my dear, they certainly are. They are beautiful beings. They are here to teach you unconditional love. So they are part of your soul family.
Harg asked, do we plan an experience with people, and what if things don't go to plan? Or if things go different from the real plan?
Well, you will always have the plan. It'll never evade. The plan will always be there. Sometimes the soul will put some different scenarios there, and it'll take the choice to take each one of those, either one of those, scenarios that are playing out in life. But I would say that it will always go to the plan.
And Matt asked, do we have to reincarnate?
The soul chooses to reincarnate. You know, everything is balance. Everything is energy, everything is balance. Everything has an opposite to it. So you've got magnetization, demagnetization. You've got dematerialization, you've got rematerialization. You have incarnation, you have discarnate. You have lightness, you have darkness. You have land, you have water. You have black, you have white in colors. You have an opposite to everything. You have heavy, you have light. You see, everything has an opposite. So therefore, to create balance, the soul will come to the earth to experience the physicality, and it will return to the earth to create balance, to go back to the spirit world and experience the spirit life. It creates balance with everything. All has balance. Sometimes it may get out of kilter, but therefore it is worked upon to put it back into balance. But the life and the passing is all about the opposites. Opposites create balance. Negative, positive.
Thank you. Diceman has asked, is soul ascension ultimately about merging with the Creator?
Yes. To become pure light is to stay in the spirit world, and you may come and work with the people of the earth. For instance, you may be a spirit guide, or you may be helping with the healing side of things. But to say that you are wanting to be connecting with the earth is a choice. You may want to just stay in heaven and be the light and be pure. There is nothing but purity in heaven. It is so beautiful. And so, as I have said before, the soul is like a moth to the light. It wants to be so enveloped within it to become it. And through lifetime after lifetime, peeling away the layers and eventually becoming that pure light.
We have a question. If the earth is a learning place and we return many times, why are most people still so unhappy?
Because they are going through the motions of life. They are still learning about loving themselves. You see, most human beings, in fact all really, at some point in their lives will batter themselves. They will self-sabotage, because that again is the opposite. That particular soul has chosen to experience more of one than the other, and so it has chosen to experience the negative in order to understand it. In order to understand that emotion, the soul chooses to go through it, so it knows the action and the feeling of it and the outcome of it. It may, in this particular life, overcome that and then go on to help others through a similarity of condition. So it may have had to experience or wanted to experience that, and then to grow from it, and then go on to use that experience to help others through similarity of emotions, you see. So it had to have that purpose to go through in order to understand what it was like to be in that position. So therefore it could give empathy to others going through it. You see, that purpose may be put there for that reason, but if they choose to experience a more negative form to create balance within their soul's journey, then they will go through the negative and maybe go through that for most of their life and try to overcome it, but won't have any success because they chose to experience it. And they may come back in the next life and they may experience more of the positive side, but they will still have the balance of the negative and positive, but one greater or lesser than another, you see. That's how it works. Again, it's balance.
Matt asked, Jonathan, do you think the spirits of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn still are in the spirit world or are reincarnated?
Well, actually, King Henry VIII is speaking through one of the mediums on this earth, so he is still in the spirit world. He chose to stay there to enlighten himself from that side. And of course, when he went to the spirit world, I would have gathered that he would have seen all of his, what you would call on the earth, wrongdoings. But again, he chose to experience quite a lot of the negative in this particular lifetime that he had. If he was to come back again, through his own choice, he may want to experience being more of a positive side. But nevertheless, he is still loved.
Thank you. Travel Cat asked, does the spirit world know the answers to mysteries on earth that we have wondered about? For example, who was Jack the Ripper, and is there a Loch Ness Monster?
There have been many mysteries in your world. And of course, this gentleman that you call Jack the Ripper was just a being that came to this earth and again chose to experience the negative side, the deeper depths of the negative side, because he needed to learn how to love himself but never did in this life, so he carried great resentment within him. And of course created fear within others to avoid him, because they saw him as a danger, which that he would have been seen as, and people would have avoided him, so he would have made it worse for himself. I gather that he had a problem with his mother in life, you see, and he never really came to terms with that because of the way that she was towards him. So he ended up practically hating women. And so therefore, anyone that wanted to express themselves in a manner of how they were expressing themselves in those days, he didn't want them around. He took his resentment out on them. But of course, he had to see the damage that he had done when he got to the spirit world. Therefore, he would have learned from that side, perhaps in another life, because he did reincarnate.
Oya asked, Jonathan, what was it life like for you in your lifetime when you met Elaine?
In my lifetime when I met Elaine, of course being Christian, until she came into my life, I met her and I looked at her and I thought, well, how can I feel like this about a person that I have only just met? And she is a maid and I am a person that is not supposed to be associating with the maids. But of course, when I looked at her, I knew that there was something that was there more than that. But of course, I didn't delve into it too much because of my beliefs, you see. And so therefore I couldn't see the spiritual side of things because all I had ever learned was religion. And so therefore, looking outside of that was seen as a wrongdoing, but my soul knew her soul. And I did not understand why I felt the way that I did about her. And nor did she at the time. But we came to meet quite often, and we spoke about many things. And we felt such a deep connection that we never really understood in that particular lifetime, but we knew that it felt good. And so therefore, we did not know that we were twin souls because nobody ever spoke about those sort of things. We just knew that there was some sort of depth of love that we were trying to understand.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to everyone for your questions. We are sorry we didn't get to them. We didn't get time tonight to obviously answer them all, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. If we have Elaine back now.
Yes, I would like to thank everyone that came to speak with us this evening, and may you all be blessed. We love you all. And I'm sure that we will join you again on here at some point. But for now, God bless you all and have a wonderful evening.
Right?
Still on.
Oh, okay. Right. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm going to leave you and I will come on here again at some point. Hopefully, join you a little more often. So we do enjoy connecting with you this way. And we'll see you again soon. And thank you all. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.